Hey guys, this is Phil, and in today's video, we're going to be talking about AEGs, specifically about the assault rifle platform. Whether it's the M4 or the AK-47 variant, the assault rifle platform is the go-to primary weapon system for the vast majority of airsofters because it provides an adaptable and reliable system that can fit most playstyles. Just like all of our gear, the Storm Riders want to make sure we've set it up in the most efficient way. So what we're going to do today is go over our top 5 tips that will help you get the most out of your assault rifle platform. So let's get to it. Our first tip is to make sure that your AEG is a good fit for your body type, regardless of what platform you're using. Now, I'm fairly short, and I find that using a very long rifle can be challenging, especially when I'm running and gunning. The barrel can end up in the dirt when I kneel down, and because it's so long, it can be hard to get a good stance with it. As a result, I switched to using shorter AEGs such as this one, which fit my body type and playstyle a lot better. Conversely, Chris and Pat are both taller than I am, and they have no trouble wielding much longer rifles effectively. That doesn't mean that you can't use a long rifle if you're shorter, but it might not be as effective as in the hands of someone who's taller than you are. Even using a slightly shorter barrel or getting rid of accessories such as suppressors can really help your rifle be more effective for you if you're shorter. Tip number 2 is to make sure that your AEG furniture is adjusted correctly. Most M4 style AEGs come with an adjustable stock, such as a crane stock or a 3-position stock, and it's very important that this be adjusted correctly. What we see a lot of times is the crane stock actually pushed in all the way to make the weapon as short as possible, but we really advise against this. When your stock is pushed all the way in this fashion, it causes your weapon hand to be at an extreme angle when shooting, which can be extremely uncomfortable for long periods of time. Instead, you'll want to have your crane stock as far back as possible. This will give you a much more stable platform when aiming and transitioning targets. The best way to get the correct position for your stock is to grab your rifle by the pistol grip and bend your elbow. Then you extend the stock until it rests roughly in the crook of your elbow or as close to it as possible. Now this may seem a little long, but give it a try. We're sure you'll find it much more comfortable. Tip number 3 is to not mount your red dot sight too close to your face. While your red dot sight helps you aim, if it's too close to your face, it will actually interfere with your field of vision. Rather, try mounting your red dot sight above your magwell or a little bit further. This will ensure that the red dot sight doesn't block your field of vision when you're in a low or high ready position. Even 1 or 2 notches down the rail can really make a big difference, but don't go too far forward with it or you might have trouble finding the dot when aiming. Tip number 4 is to mount your foregrip as far forward on your rifle as possible and to use it as a reference point. In previous videos, we talked about how the ideal shooting stance is to grab your rifle as far forward as possible because it gives you the most control over your muzzle, which is essential when transitioning targets. This is also why it's important to use your foregrip as a reference point and not an actual hold. Grabbing hold of your foregrip will actually change your shooting stance and drag your barrel down. Using your foregrip as a reference point for your offhand will not only make sure that you consistently hold your rifle in the same way, but it'll make sure your shooting stance is good and that your rifle is consistently driving forward towards your target. Our last tip is to position your sling mounts correctly, and if you're not using a sling, you should definitely start. If you're using a 2-point sling like most of the Storm Riders are using, you should position the sling mounts at the very front of your gun and in the rear right behind your lower receiver. Having your sling mounts far apart in this way will give you the most stability with your rifle when you're not using it so that it doesn't dangle around. It'll also make it a lot easier for you to sling the rifle over your back. If you're using a single point sling like I am, the correct position for the sling mount is directly behind the lower receiver. It's generally inadvisable to mount your single point sling at the back of your stock, as it will not let your rifle rest in an easy to reach position and will not provide you very much control over the barrel. Additionally, if you do take a knee while your rifle is slung, it's quite likely that your barrel will end up in the ground. So that's it for our top 5 ways to help optimize your AEG setup. We'd love to hear about ways that you've optimized your own AEG, so leave us a note in the comments. We hope you found this video helpful. If you like what you see, make sure to subscribe. Thank you for watching.